Today we're going to talk about lighting. Lighting is so important when it comes to the design and decorating of your home. This is my dining room. You've seen this room before, and I'm using this because it's the perfect example of layering. Layering your lighting in a room is so important. With lighting, you want to cover whether or not you need lighting for task. Are you trying to do something? Are you trying to cook? Are you trying to prepare? Are you trying to knit? Are you trying to read? Task lighting is when you're trying to do a task and need the proper light to do it. So you're not squinting and straining your eyes, which is really bad. It's task lighting. It's really important. I also like to have lighting that creates a mood. Behind me in the dining room, we have 3 layers of light. We have can lights that are on a dimmer. That way, if we're setting the table or cleaning up, we can kick up those lights and we can see clearly what we're doing. Those can lights are on a dimmer. I also have the chandelier above the table. One, it adds decorative element, and it's also on a dimmer. So if we want to create a more intimate setting, we can kick off those cans and we're able to adjust up or down the lighting of the chandelier. The 3rd layer of lighting are my lamps. Now these we have set to a timer. I say we loosely. James has these lights set to a timer. And they're created to wash the walls with light. So we have the lamps nestled pretty closely to the wall, and it creates this pretty pattern of light spraying up and spraying down from the shade. And it also creates a mood. These lamps pop on as soon as it starts to get dark. So later in the day, these lamps come on, they kick on, and they're always on in the evening to create a mood in that room. Just to light it a little, enough that the room says, hello, I'm here. But also, from a design standpoint, it adds a little depth and interest to the room. The dining room isn't the only room that we have layered lighting. We actually have layered lighting in every single room. Our bedroom also has can lighting, a chandelier over the bed, and several lamps, 2 beside the bed to make it easy if we're getting into bed and want to read something, we can kick on the lamp. And we also have a lamp nestled between our 2 reading chairs. James's office, can lights on a dimmer, a cool chandelier hanging over his desk, and he also has a lamp that stays on all the time. Put LED bulbs in these lamps that stay on all the time. No worry about being wasteful with energy. Even the kitchen, we have wonderful task lighting in the kitchen with our can lights, and we have a light over our table in case we want to have a little more intimate mood lighting. Layering lighting, so important. Again, if you have questions about not necessarily knowing exactly what you should be doing, think about how you use your spaces. If you need help, we're happy to help you figure this out. But we're going to ask you the checklist as well. What do you use the room for? Let's look at the layout of the room. Where are you sitting? Do you have artwork that you want to feature with light? Lots of things to think about, but it's really not that hard. Lighting also creates your style. The style of chandelier, the style of lamp. Those all should be cohesive with the style of your decor. So lighting, some people are a little afraid of and a little afraid to commit to, but it's not that hard. But I understand not everybody has that vision, and that's okay. That's where you bring in the professionals. We'll be happy to help you. So let's get to looking at some lighting.
The dining room area is a place that I get a lot of questions on what size light fixture is the right size light fixture. So there's a little math involved here. You'll want to measure, if you have a rectangular table, you'll want to measure the length of the table and then look up the length of the light fixture. The rule of thumb is to be about 1/2 to 3/4 of the length of the table. Same with the diameter. If you have a round table and you're hanging a chandelier over it, you want the fixture to be about 1/2 size in diameter that the table is, or 3/4. You want to do this to make sure that your light fixture isn't overpowering the table, and so it doesn't look super dinky above the table either. So what we've done here, we have an 84-inch long table. And this particular fixture hanging over it is exactly half. It's 44. That's about half, right? Doing the math, 84, this fixture is 44 in length. So this fixture size is perfect for this table size. Now we're going to come in a little closer and take a look at the light fixture itself. So we're looking at this fixture. It's a cool modern design with black metal and the silver accents on the stems that come down from the ceiling, as well as the stem on the candle light bulb stem. When you're making selections for lighting in, say, a living room or a little nook in your home, you also want to layer the lighting in that space as well. You want great lighting to flood the room with light, and you get that with can lighting. You also want some task lighting for, say, when you're seated and reading a book or working on your knitting or whatever you do when you're seated, or just to add mood light to the room. And that is achieved perfectly with lamps. Now, the rule of thumb with choosing a lamp size against a table on tabletop is very similar to the tips that I gave you with the dining table. This lamp's drum, the shade drum, is 3/4 the width or diameter of the table it's resting on. So the lamp isn't overpowering the table. Same with the height. You want to be careful and look at the whole grouping, look at the grouping as a whole when making a decision on how tall the lamp should be. Do you need to fill the wall space and have the lamp be a little taller? Or do you need it to be a little lower and so that it illuminates down in the seating spaces that you're working in? You don't want the lamp to be too squatty. If it's too squatty, when you're seated, you see the top through the top of the shade and looking at the light bulb while you're seated. That's not a good selection. This lamp is perfect proportion for the table it's resting on, as well as the height of the chairs. We could go a little taller if we need to fill a wall space or just add height and dimension to the room. But this lamp, I think, is perfect. This is a lamp that I love because of that linen cream shade. I love a nice lamp shade. The base of this lamp is really beautiful with its speckled finish, and the top portion is a glazed ceramic where the bottom is unglazed and gives that nice depth of texture on that bottom portion of the lamp. It has a beautiful brushed nickel finial on top that I think coordinates very nicely with the warm colors going on in the lamp itself. Something very important to consider when you're purchasing your lighting is also to consider the light bulb. What Kelvin is the light bulb? This is something that gets overlooked and sometimes is overwhelming for people. You get in this store, there's rows and rows of light bulbs to select from. Which one is the right one? Well, first of all, let's define Kelvin. When you're measuring in kelvins, that is actually the temperature that the light bulb is. So the lower the number, say 2700, that's going to be a warmer light, like we have here. And the higher the number goes, the cooler the light becomes. We tend to use warmer lighting, that lower Kelvin number, for our homes because it gives it that warm glow. More of a medical setting, you'll see kelvins up in the 3000 number, that pure, crisp white light. Crisp white light is perfect for certain settings in your home, but think about in the kitchen. If you've got a blue light and you're cooking meat, your meat is going to look a bit gray, not very appetizing. Not saying that your room has to be that low Kelvin number. Some people like a crisper, cleaner light, which is fine. You just don't want to get close to that 3000 mark in your kitchen. But what's good lighting in one space might not be good in another. Let's talk about the bathroom. The bathroom where we want nice, clean, bright light while we're getting ready, while we're applying makeup, gentlemen, while you're shaving. We don't want a bunch of shadow. And we also want the color temperature to be correct. We don't want to come out looking like Bozo the Clown. So the Kelvin ranging around 3500 would be perfect. It's not too warm, it's not too cool for your bathroom. Also consider light coming down as well as towards your face. This eliminates the most shadow and makes it the easiest to get ready in. Think about it. Have you ever been in a hotel or someone's home and you're trying to get ready and you kind of have to shift yourself over to the light because it illuminates one side of you, and then you're having to turn your head or shift yourself over to the other side to illuminate the other side? Think about the bathroom lighting illuminating your whole face to make it easy to get around and get ready. Not all lighting has to be simply functional. Think about the pretty too. Think about those accent lighting fixtures that just bring a great design element to the room. The chandelier in the bathroom or bedroom, a beautiful chandelier over your dining table, gorgeous lamps. There's a bunch of different ways to bring in the pretty through light fixtures. So again, it doesn't necessarily have to all be functional. We want it to be attractive as well.